Now, there are two parts to today's episode. Part one, I'm going to share with you what, together with my friends, I'm going to share with you what are some of the harmful effects of sleep. And then in the second part of the episode, we're going to share with you sleeping tips. So that we can help you sleep better tonight and for the rest of the other nights. You know, there's a disclaimer here, all right? We are no experts on sleep. We are merely unpacking this book that we came to fall in love with, and highly recommend every one of you to read this copy of the book. It's called Why We Need to Sleep, okay? Today, it's all about biohacking. It's all about helping you sleep your way to success. It's all about helping you to increase your energy, increase your happiness, and to decrease the chances of getting cancer. I tell you, this book is amazing. How many hours do you sleep last night? How many hours do you sleep last night? I just find that, you know, this is a topic that's extremely important for us. As a lot of you are in sales, you are running your final sprint. You want to make sure that you are at your peak performance. And unfortunately, many of us are damaging our bodies unconsciously by, you know, reducing the amount of hours of sleep. So I want to check in with all of you right now and find out, you know, how many hours do you actually sleep last night? Today it's nothing to do with sales, all right? But yeah, at the same time, it's everything to do with sales. This is about your body. So hi, John.
Hi, Eric. Good to see you tonight.
Good to see you. And we have Bibi Anna as well. Hi, you all look so cute. Wait, how come you all look like your guys are in separate rooms? Aren't you a couple? Okay. All right. Anyway.
We have our own rooms.
Huh?
We have our own rooms.
Oh, wow. That's very good. So at least y'all fight, right? Y'all can sleep in your own bed and John doesn't have to sleep on the couch. So maybe John, I think you were the one that kind of got started and you were crazy about this book. He has been telling all his friends about this book. So tell us your backstory. How do you came to discover this book, or why do you got so obsessed about sleep?
You know, when Bibi and I, we got together and, you know, we started sleeping, right? We share the same bed and, you know, I didn't know I have a snoring problem, right? Because, you know, this is, I mean, if believe it or not, right? For the past 24 years of my life, I never had a girlfriend, right? So Bibi is my first. And, you know, I didn't have a snoring problem. But when I got together with Bibi, she told me like, dude, you snore so loud, right? And, you know, she kept waking me up, you know, probably like 9 to 10 times a night, right? Because, oh man, yeah, it's horrible because she's a very light sleeper, right? But I'm a very deep sleeper. So for me, I can actually handle any kinds of sounds and still continue sleeping.
So you know what? If you think you have no sleep problem, get yourself a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then you realize that you actually do have sleep problems just because you're sleeping alone. No one tells you that you snore. Now, I mean, I have to admit, okay, I do snore as well because I download the sleeping app. In case you guys want to know what's the name of the sleeping app, it's called Sleep Cycle. And this app is very cool because it records your snoring. It tells you what time you snore and for how long you snore. Now, tell everybody what's one of the most harmful effects of not sleeping enough.
Right, and I think this is something that was really shocking to me, right? Because, you know, during this period of time, one of our close friends actually, unfortunately, you know, passed away because, you know, her arteries in her brain actually burst, right? You call it blood vessels or arteries, I'm not sure, right? So, you know, kind of shocked us, but when I read this book, right, actually everything, you know, it all made sense, right? Because, you know, the book actually talks about, you know, if you actually have lesser than 6 hours of sleep for about 2 to 3 days, right, what's going to happen is that your body is going to go into this fight or flight response, right? So imagine you see a tiger on the road, right? Immediately, you know, your adrenaline will be up, you know, your blood pressure will be up, you know, your heart will be pumping really quickly, right? So this is what's going to happen to your body, right? You know, your blood pressure is going to go up. And the thing is, because, you know, the blood pressure is up, right? The growth hormones, right, do not have this ability to actually repair the walls of your blood vessels, right? So what's going to happen is that your blood vessel is going to be more choked up, right? It's going to get thinner over time, right? And imagine this, right, you know, happening over a period of 10 to 20 years, right? So your blood vessel get thinner and thinner and thinner, and one day all it takes is for one person to make you really, really angry, your blood pressure spikes up, and, you know, your blood vessel will burst, right? And this is getting more and more common nowadays, right? You see young people at a young age, suddenly they just faint, you know, and it's because of blood vessels bursting.
I'm about to give you a sales script that you can actually use to get more sales in this final sprint. It's got to do with sleep. Cecile, you are the second person asking this question. Suvina asked the same question. Eric, I wake up at 3 a.m. Is my body trying to tell me something? The answer is yes. And I'll tell you more about that later on as well. I've done some research on this. Maybe tell me, how about you? Like when you read this book, like what was one of the most harmful effects that caught your attention?
Just let me give you a bit of like backstory. So one day, John, he actually sat me down because he obviously he read the book first, right? And then one day he just like sat me down and he was like, you know what, you have to read this book. And I was like, the book is so thick. I'm not really a fan of like reading books. Then he's like, okay, never mind. 1 hour YouTube video for you to watch. You need to sit down and watch this video. And then
I repurpose the content.
yeah, so it was basically kind of like a summary of the book. And you know, like throughout my entire life, I've always had like really, really bad memory, and you know, I always associated like, oh, you know, I just have like bad memory. So it's just me and all that. Until I watched that video, that book summary video, which actually, you know, talks about like what happens if you don't sleep. And you know, like in the past, right, I've always been sleeping at like 2, 3 a.m. and I will wake up at like 8 a.m. So that's kind of like, I don't really have like a full 8 hours of sleep. On some days, I can even sleep at 3 or 4 a.m. So it was something that was very normal for me. Until when I read the book, they actually said like, you know, if you have sleep less than 8 hours a day, what actually happens is you actually have poor memory. Because, you know, in the first 6 hours of your sleep, what your brain is trying to do is, you know, trying to process everything that has happened during the day. And the last 2 hours of your sleep is the most crucial because it transfers all the short-term memory into the long-term memory. So if you're not getting the full 8 hours of sleep, you know, especially the last 2 hours, which is the most crucial, you will always have like short-term memory. So, you know, I realized that, okay, you know what, I have to make changes to my life. Otherwise, like, I don't want to be always, you know, other people always feel like, oh, you know what, you have like short-term memory and all that. Like, I feel that that's not like a good excuse, and I really like want to change my life. And that's why I think I've been sleeping like a baby for like the past 1 month since I watched this video.
You know, as a salesperson, we always need to remember our customers' PPVV, right? Passion, pain, value, vision. We need to remember all the facts and figures and all the clauses. And if you ever noticed that you're losing your memory, you seem to forget things and you always need to write things down, which is what I just did. I was like, I can't remember this, I need to write it down. Right? You need to sleep more. And there are a lot of other harmful effects of sleep. And I think, but the two I feel that is impactful to me is the heart disease one and also the memory one. And of course, you know, the testicles one, which is very important as well, right? Because especially in Singapore, we got very low birth rates. I think one of the reasons why we have low birth rates is because we're not sleeping enough. So, you know, our army of soldiers are not very strong, right? So we have a lot of questions that's being asked. Stephanie asked, why do we have so many dreams? We have John who asked another question. I do a lot of frequent toileting during the night and it disrupts my sleep. Why is that so? Now we're not going to assume that we can answer all your questions, because if the question there's an answer from the book, we'll tell you. If not, you got to find. We won't know. Okay. But we're about to, you know, invite another guest, and we're gonna have some fun with this. This one has a little bit. I think this is more personal for me. I have never done this before, and I know I've always been about sales, marketing, and branding. And this is my first time attempting to teach something that's not sales related. It's not even teaching, it's about sharing. And I hope you guys support this topic because more people need to, you know, have this information, this knowledge. So we're going to go into part 2 right now. And part 2 is Q&A. And we actually have a very interesting guest who has huge, major problems when it comes to sleeping. Just like John and just like many of you who only sleep like 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours. And for the rest of the time we have, we're going to give you a lot of tips. And I invite every single one of you to also, you know, share with all of us, you know, your strategies as well. Okay, we're not experts here, right? But we want to learn with you and you learn with us. And so with that, let's invite our next guest. And this is an interesting young man who have problems sleeping, and I'm gonna see if John can help and BB can help. Oh my God. Yo, Baguio! What's up with you? What's going on in the background? Is that a snake, a dragon, or a python, or what?
Dinosaur.
Okay, you look like you really need a lot of sleep. What time? How many hours do you sleep last night?
I forgot.
You know why you forgot, right?
I really forgot.
You really Okay, on average, how many hours do you sleep every night?
I think 5 or 4. Yeah, sometimes lesser than that. The last week I was drunk, so I went home at 5 a.m. Then I had gym at 7, right? So I went gym at 7, semi-drunk.
So you only have 2 hours. Okay, wait. Let's just clarify first. How old are you, young man?
I'm 23, turning 24.
Now, I tell you guys something. All you young people out there, you're in your early 20s, all right? I understand what is it like. I mean, I used to go drinking with my friends, and then next day I can still go lecture and go for exams and go gym. But I tell you something. This is a debt that you will eventually have to pay when you're at my age. When you're in your late 30s, right? You if you don't sleep that 7 hours, right? You will have giddiness, you will get grumpy. How many of you ever get grumpy? Like, I don't get grumpy all the time, but whenever I get grumpy, I know that I have not enough sleep. Or I get very impatient with people when I have not enough sleep. So, Baguio, what's your question for us today?
I thought you were supposed to ask me a question.
What? No,
Oh, really?
How are you? How many hours you sleep? Obviously, you're sleep deficient. Obviously, your testicles is very, very small. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. That's why I buy size S underwear.
So, what do you think is your biggest struggle? Like, why are you not sleeping enough?
I think sometimes very hard to sleep because like sometimes your mind is always thinking about like a lot of things, right? Then after that, I feel like my mind gets excited sometimes at night for no reason. Sometimes it's for certain things, sometimes it's for other things. Then after that, I get super excited. I just can't sleep. Then I just stare at the wall for 2 hours. Yeah, like some mental patient.
It really doesn't help if you have a wall like that behind you. Like how to sleep when you have a big wall staring at you. Like I can't even sleep. I close my eyes, open my eyes.
I thought you say choose something interesting, so I thought this quite interesting.
How many of you have the same problem?
How many of you get excited at night also?
Like you get excited or you get hyperactive at night. You can't sleep. You get a lot of ideas and you just feel like you want to sleep. How many of you feel that way? Let us know in the comment section. Baguio look like he is in his mid-30s.
I think because of the mask, I'm wearing mask now.
You take off your mask, You take off your mask, you check again?
Cannot. I just put on. Later I raise the mask. Cannot. 10 more minutes I take out. 10 more minutes I take out.
Okay, I totally can understand you, right? Because when I first started, I was sleeping at 2-3 o'clock, right? 2-3 a.m. And one of the things I realized that really helped me a lot was meditation, right? As superficial as it may sound, right? So really just close your eyes, focus on your breath, right? So when you breathe in, you count 1. You breathe out, you count 2, right? You just keep doing this, and somehow, I did this. I committed to myself, right? I say, if I don't commit into this, right, nothing in my life will change. Right? So I told myself, why not just give myself 1 week and try it out, right? And I realized that every day, right, I was sleeping 15 minutes earlier, right? So from 3 o'clock to 2:45 to 2:30, right? Then 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So I was able to shift it slowly to 11 p.m., right? And I think for you and I, for our age, 11 p.m. is kind of the time where, for people of our age, right?
Wait, you say people of our age, how old are you, Jonathan?
25.
25 years old. So are you saying that if you're 25, you need to sleep at 11 a.m.? Then if you're 30 years old, what time you sleep? 10 a.m.? 10 p.m.?
Okay, so based on the book, right, if you're someone who's in your 50s, right, you'll start to get tired at about 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., right? That's why there's always this thing where
at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's why there's this thing where old people actually sleep earlier and they wake up really, really early. All right, but for younger people, right, the natural human clock, not a natural biological clock, is to actually sleep. You start to get the most tired at 11 o'clock. Right, so 11 o'clock is something that you want to push for, right? And for parents, if you guys are, we have audience who are parents, all right, don't force your child to, wake up too early, right, over the weekends, because otherwise, they actually become dumber over time, right? Not because in a very crude way, but because they do not have the last 2 hours to actually allow their brain to transfer the information from the short-term memory, which is your hippocampus, right? Just touch your head. The top right here is your hippocampus, to the back of your head, which is your long-term memory, right? This is your cortex or corvex. I can't remember the term, right? So you need this transference of knowledge so that they'll remember, right? If you want your students to score A's, right? You want your students to be the top in school, let them sleep all they want. In fact, the book says no one will actually suffer any diseases by sleeping too much. Right, no one ever suffers from A1. Exactly, right. Sleep your way to A1. So,
Jonathan, share with everybody the experiment you shared with me. The one about school letting students sleep for 1 more hour, and then the performance of the student went. Tell them about that one.
Right. So in America, right, they actually had this school who was really inspired by this, if I'm not wrong, by this author Matthew Walker, who's the author of Why We Sleep. Right. So basically, they tried to shift school timings from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So just a little difference of 1.5 hours, and the entire cohort, right, after implementing this rule, the entire cohort actually increased their SAT score. So SAT score is kind of like your A levels. Is it something like your A levels, right, by 30%. Right? So we're not just talking about the top class in the school, we're talking about the entire cohort increasing their SAT scores by 30%, right? Just by that 1.5 hours. And the most interesting thing is this, right, guys? The life expectancy of these students actually increased. Right? So you must be thinking, these people are so young, right, John? What do you mean by life expectancy, right? So they actually realized that, the number one reason, right, for deaths in young people. You guys just make a guess, right? What's the number one reason for the cause of death of young people? Just type in the comment section below, right?
Let us know in the comment section. Whoever get it right,
people.
you get a copy of the book as well. Okay? The question by John is, what is the number one reason that young people die?
Heart attack, balls cancer.
Okay, so Baguio say heart attack. I think smoking, vaping.
Vaping.
Yeah. BB, what do you think? What's the number one reason why?
I don't know.
Maybe they study too much.
Maybe cancer.
Depression.
Maybe they study too much.
Depression, yeah, depression could be.
All right, so they realized that the number one cause of young people dying is actually car crashes, right? Number two is actually depression or suicide. So, by just giving their students 1.5 more hours to sleep, they're able to decrease the chances of car crashes cases by 70%, right? So more of the students started living and stopped getting involved in car accidents, right? So this is something that's really crazy, right? Just 1.5 hours a day, you can save so many of your students' lives.
Two takeaways for parents: do not force your kids to sleep at 9 p.m. Because they are young. So let them sleep at the natural sleep time, which is about what the book says, 11 p.m.
11 p.m. Yeah.
But make sure that your kids get their proper 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because the last 2 hours is the most critical. Oh my God, no wonder I keep forgetting things, because we only sleep 6 hours. So guys, 6 hours, you wake up, right? Your brain don't have that extra 2 hours to move the short term to long term. No wonder we forget things. But that's also the reason why, John, I'm happier, because I forget stuff. Yeah, I don't see I forget. Like you offend me, I also forget. Like, oh, you offend me, I didn't know that. Let's say, for example, 11 p.m. you need to sleep. In the book, it says that you need to have this thing called a night routine, which is 1 hour before sleep. That means you are coaxing your body to fall asleep. That's the reason why Ask Eric Live is 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., right? So that you got the next 1 hour to unwind and slowly get to bed. And one of the ways to make yourself sleep is through milk. And then I recommend this thing as well. These are yellow glasses. These are essentially blue blocker lenses. So you can go get blue blockers lenses, but essentially if you buy a pair of yellow glasses, it will also work, because yellow glasses block off blue light. And when you use a lot of devices like iPad, handphone, Netflix, all that shines a blue light on you, and it prevents the production of this thing called melatonin. And melatonin is what induces sleep. So usually by 9 p.m., I will wear these yellow glasses so that everything looks yellow, and it actually calms me down. So Baguio, you maybe want to get yourself a yellow pair of glasses.
Yellow glasses.
Yellow glasses.
Right?
You can switch on something so that they remove the blue light.
Yeah, I think it's called like night mode or something like that.
Ah, okay, got it.
Like your display settings, so it's on all my devices, my iPad, my phone, even I'm using an iMac now. I have this. So basically, what happens is, it will actually turn the screen like orange after 7 o'clock, so you get like lesser blue light on your screen. And in fact, I felt like this was the best hack that helped me to sleep well. It's actually orange light. So
orange light.
After 7 o'clock, right? So what my dad installed, right, was LED lights in the house, and they have 3 colors. So I have like white, orange, and like a mix of orange and white. So after 7 o'clock, right, all the lights in the house is orange color, and this was the thing that really helped me to sleep. Like by 11:30, I'm very tired. I'll go to bed and fall asleep by like 12 or 12.
Wait, BB, when you say orange light, is it like the kind of warm lights? You see, like you go to a nice cafe, that warm lights.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't been having a lot of good sleep, which is also why I wanted to do tonight's episode, because I think like Baguio, I think many of us have problems sleeping.
Yep.
And I think the reason why we have problems sleeping is because we are not strict we're not strict with ourselves, and we need to learn how to fall in love with sleep.
Wow.
And that's one of my takeaways, like learning how to fall in love with sleep. And the only way you can learn to fall in love with sleep is if you first make sure that you understand the positive effects of sleep.
During the day when we are stressed, you actually inside your brain is kind of like a thunderstorm, right? Your brain sends out electricity, it shoots here, left, right, center, up, down, left, right. All right. And this electricity actually produces this protein, right? So I can't remember the exact scientific name of this protein, but this protein, when it accumulates in your brain, right, it actually causes the front part here, the middle part right above your nose here, right, to actually, which is responsible for rational and logical thinking, right? It kind of inhibits the front part of this of your brain, right? And this is how you get Alzheimer, because of this protein. So what happens when you go into deep sleep, right, is that your brain actually opens up, right? And these canals will actually open up to drain out all these proteins, right? So can you imagine if you have less than 6 hours of sleep for 10 years, right? Can you imagine how much protein is accumulating in your brain, right? And this will actually cause Alzheimer or dementia.
I just want to show you my graph. So being vulnerable here, okay? So don't judge me, Okay, so so I download this app called Sleep Cycle. Can everybody see my slides? Can y'all see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you guys can see my slides, could you help me hit the like button? Make sure that all of you can see the slides. Okay, now, so what happened was, this is Sunday, right? So you notice my sleep quality it's very, very high, 72%. But again, I only sleep about 6 hours and 36 minutes, which is already very long already. Now, this is what John meant. This is called deep sleep. And from what I understand is every one of us need to have 4 cycles of deep sleep. 4. So everybody count. I have 1, 2. This one is considered 3 and 4. So this is considered very, very good sleep. And you were awake, and then you sleep, and then you go deeper, and then you awake, you sleep. It's pretty normal like this, right? Okay, now, but this is last night when I drank alcohol.
Oh.
Wow.
Then is that F, man. F up, man. You see this? Right? I slept like within 7 minutes I fall asleep. So I take that long to fall asleep nowadays. Right? I also sleep 6 hours, by the way. See, I slept at 2 a.m. I wake up at 8 a.m. You see, it's about still 6 hours. But why is it that we sleep 6 hours but we don't feel good? Because of the quality of the sleep. So you notice I did not enter deep sleep, and I was actually awake. So I was doing a lot of dreaming.
Oh.
This is REM.
What do you dream about?
I'm dreaming. I dream a lot of things, man. Some things cannot share, but a lot of things. And then it went down at 4 a.m. and then it went down again 5. So I have 1 cycle of deep sleep, and then I went up again, and then down, but could not go down. Right? I'm always up, but cannot go down. And then later on, when I'm supposed to wake up, then I went into deep sleep. So this is very important. Why is it that sometimes when you wake up, you feel super groggy? It's because your alarm clock wake you while you are still in deep sleep. So this app called Sleep Cycle is then freaking powerful, because your sleep cycle, right, will only wake you up when it notices that you're moving on an upward trend. That means when you're starting to be awake, that at this moment here, they will start playing the alarm clock. So when I set my alarm at 8 a.m., it will either wake me up at 7:30 to about 8:05, that period of time. And it's watching when I wake up. So that whenever I wake up, I don't feel groggy. But having said that, I feel like shit today because, I didn't really get to sleep. But this is perfect example where, I set up at about 9 o'clock. But, at 9 o'clock, I'm still sleeping. So it doesn't wake me up. And then it only wakes me up later on when I'm on an upward trend. Then it took me a while before I wake up.
Right, guys, it's not just, for me, it wasn't just about marriage, right? It's about that belief of thinking that I was lazy, I was not motivated, getting that energy, right? Now it's like freaking at 9 o'clock, right? Last time by now, I'd be like, oh my God, so tired. But now it's like, oh my God, I still can go at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, but... But, you have so much energy, right? And, you know, when I wake up, right, you know, I wake up at 7, 8 o'clock, I don't feel tired anymore. I feel like I'm so ready for life. I jump out of bed, in fact, this morning to look at all my companies, right? And, you know, you feel so passionate, right? And, you know, you start to remember things better, right? You feel that, you know, is that self-confidence that you're buying, right? Is that quality of life that you're paying for, right? So, you know, I can't imagine living the next 40, 50 years of my life just breathing through one side of my nose and sniffing, you know. I'm more than happy to pay 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000 dollars just to have that quality of life, seriously, right? So, you know, to me, right, even though it was scary, but I thought to myself, right, if I didn't take that leap of faith, right, nothing in my life would change. But if I give this a try, maybe I can experience the next level of life. So that was my thinking.
If you care so much about your success, please, you know, remember this: sleep is nature's gift to you for immortality. Sleep is nature's gift to you for immortality.
So
and
philosophical.
so treasure it, you know, and remember to sleep your 7 hours. I hope the tips have been very useful for you. Next week, we're going to step up a little bit. We're going to go back into the topic of social media. I have invited a media lawyer to join me on Ask Eric Live. He is an expert when it comes to legal suits relating to social media. And there's a lot of interesting issues that we can unravel. But as you know, as I teach all of you about posting content on social media, sharing your stories on social media, doing all the things on social media, are we actually breaking some law that we do not know about? Are we doing things that's actually going against PDPA or TNC? Are there blind spots? Like whenever we take a picture from Google or we take a picture right now of us and you post it, is that legal?
I get sued for using his dinosaur.
You get sued. Or when you write your opinions, right? When will it end up your opinion being a libel suit, a slander? I'm going to get you a legal advisor to answer all your questions that's got to do with social media do's and don'ts with regards to law. Thank Jonathan, Bibiana, and Baguio for taking the time to hang out with us to talk about sleep. And I wish you guys a very good night rest, sweet dreams, enjoy your 7 hours.